workshop meeting.
I call this meeting to order at 9:03 a.m. and at this time open up the floor to public comment. We do have two individuals who have joined the meeting by phone, and I'm going to allow the first to talk to provide any public comment. Please state your name and any. Hello? Okay. And it looks like actually the next is Tim Whalen, who is on the agenda later. So that was our only public caller. So hearing no public comment and seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item 3, and I'll call on Tim Whalen to discuss agenda item 3. Which is the Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program Agreements. Tim?
Yeah, good morning. Can everyone hear me all right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. Just wanted to double check. Thank you. We're requesting this morning from the commissioners the review and approval of two documents related to the Carlisle Productions $2.5 million redevelopment assistance capital program grant for the redevelopment of the IAC Brownfield site in Carlisle. This particular effort has been awarded an additional $500,000, and because of that additional award, it requires the amendment and restatement of two documents. The first one is an amended and restated cooperation agreement between the County of Cumberland and the Redevelopment Authority. And the second one is an amended and restated indemnification agreement between the County of Cumberland and Carlisle Productions. Both of these documents have been reviewed by the Redevelopment Authority, and Carlisle Productions have been approved and signed. And they've also been reviewed by the county solicitor, Keith Brenneman, and he's in agreement. And so we're asking for the commissioners to review these documents and approve them, and if so, to have them adopted at your next full board meeting coming up here before too long. So any questions or concerns?
I have none. Plan on action on Monday then.
Great. Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry. Jean's online. Jean, did you have any questions? No. Okay. We'll move ahead.
Maybe not.
We're good.
Thanks, Tim.
Oh, great.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, sir. Right. Thank you, Gene.
So next I'll call on Nikki McElwee to discuss the children, youth, and juvenile probation needs.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioner. So I'm here to present today the first of two of our presentations for our needs-based budget. Today I'm only going to be focusing on some of the programmatic changes, the narrative, and it will only require Stacy's signature, so there's no action required by the Commissioners. We'll be back August 20th to do more of the fiscal side of our budget. In reviewing the past fiscal year, we've continued to increase our collaboration with our peer human service departments. We have regular meetings with JPO, MHIDD, drug and alcohol, and community services. These partnerships have increased our collaborative work with children and families. The meetings with MHIDD have become more vital due to seeing an increase in complex cases. These children require specific levels of care and placements, and as a team, we work together to support the child and families. We've implemented some new work groups this past year, such as Plans of Safe Care and Congregate Care Work Group. Plans of Safe Care is a state initiative between the Department of Health, the Department of Drug and Alcohol, and the Department of Human Services. Part of this initiative was to create a team of professionals that will assess cases when a child is born exhibiting withdrawal symptoms. The team meets prior to discharge to work with the family and develop a plan to assure safety of the child. If the family is cooperative, follows the plan, there is no need for our agency to be involved, which is good. And we have participated in about a dozen of these meetings and are excited to grow this partnership with our community providers. We have a congregate care work group was created to address the increasing numbers of children in this type of placement setting and in response to the Families First Prevention Services Act. As part of this act, we'll cut funding for congregate care placements that are not a specialized setting. So this group has worked for about a year to review the children we've had in these settings and develop a procedure to help prevent the placement when possible. And just to give you an idea, as of June 30th, we had 204 children in placement and 25 were in a congregate care setting. So we're a small number, but it's still something we need to work on. We also started holding 9-month reviews. These are to review any case where a child is in the care and custody of the agency for 9 months, and we're trying to address any barriers to returning the children home. As you know, we worked with Human Resources to conduct a survey with our staff and started implementing some of the requested changes. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, some of that work has been delayed. We have seen some improvement in our staff turnover. Last year it was 30%, and this year it's 19%. The main reason for people leaving still continues to be stress of the job. So part of our needs-based budget is projecting into the future, and so we are looking to add 3 additional staff, a legal secretary and 2 paralegals, and these positions are specifically to help our legal unit. As you know, I asked for positions in the budget, and the state's approval of these positions does not approve filling them within the county. We will bring any positions before the commissioners. As an agency, we are continuing to navigate the new normal. Currently, all of our staff, except the caseworkers, are in the office every day. Our caseworkers are rotating in the office every 3 days. Luckily, we were able to transition to the mobile workforce pretty seamlessly. The staff continue to do in-home and virtual visits with families. We've seen an increased participation in family group meetings, family team meetings, and our older youth transition meetings. So that is probably one of the successes of COVID. Using the technology we have, we're seeing an increase in participation in all those meetings with families. We also held a provider meeting via WebEx, and we had almost 100% participation from all of our providers. So we know that we'll go forward continuing utilizing that. We continue to be anxious on how things will continue to change, but overall, I feel the staff, providers, and families have worked hard at adapting to these changes. So that's my overview. I don't know if Andy had anything he wants to add, and if Lisa wants to give anything minor she had about fiscal.
I just wanted to, I will bring the fiscal piece in 2 weeks to the next meeting, but I just wanted to make you aware that I'm 99.9% sure we're going to end fiscal year 1920 without being in an overmatch, which is good. It helps moving forward. And our implementation year, the state certified us exactly what we were tentatively certified. They didn't cut us. I believe we should be in good shape in our implementation year if we don't see any cuts in the future by the state. We were certified and we got what we asked for basically, so that was good. And then we project for the needs-based year, which we'll bring back.
And in all of my meetings, we are not hearing that. I know that some of my other human services are being told they're on a 6-month budget, and child welfare, we're not hearing that we're being certified for a full year. But that's as of now.
Yeah, we did get our full year certification.
Yeah.
Nikki, the 3 new positions you mentioned.
Yes.
Are they mostly state funded?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be mostly 80-20.
80-20.
No different than.
Nothing, no different than, yes. Yep.
I should live with it.
Any other questions for Nikki or any of the team?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item number 5 is contracts and grants. Agenda items 5(1) through E consists of existing contracts, contract extensions, or addenda with no additional cost or increase to the county. Commissioners, do you have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding any of the agreements from Aging and Community Services, Children and Youth, Drug and Alcohol, Juvenile Probation, or MHIDD? So hearing none, we'll move on to agenda item 5(2), which consists of new contracts, vendors, services, grants, and contracts with increases or decreases to the county. And I'll start by calling on Christine Bowden to discuss the agreement for Aging and Community Services. Christine?
Good morning. The Central Pennsylvania food bank contract is to provide food to our food pantries to be distributed to residents of Cumberland County. This contract is an increase from last year due to be provided CARES funding, and we pay Central Pennsylvania on a quarterly basis.
Any questions for Christine? Okay,
No.
thank you, Christine.
Thank you.
And next I'll call on Jamie Ryber to discuss the 5 agreements for children and youth. Jamie?
Good morning. The first contracts that we have are for professional services. The first one is our 2019-2020 contract with them that we are finally able to finalize. We did request quite significant increases, ranging from 4% to 19%. However, we negotiate with them and we gave them a 2% increase programs for 2019-2020. The second concern contract is an extension for 2021 so that we can continue to pay them. And in that contract, we are increasing their rates an additional 2% because of the increases they have requested for 1920. The next contract is for Jewish Family Services of Greater Harrisburg. This is a brand new contract for us. We have not used this provider in the past. However, we do have a provider that is closing its doors to foster care, and the foster parents from that provider moved to Jewish Family Services. So we are now contracting with them so we can maintain continuity of care with our children. The next one is for Providence Life Solutions. This is a specific provider that is used for therapy for one of our children who have been seeing this provider for years, and also to maintain continuity of care for her. We have contracted with this provider so she can continue services with them. They are adding 2 additional services to their contracts for this year to be able to attend more treatment meetings and for court appearances. Otherwise, everything else is staying the same. The last one is for Community Services Foundation. This is a fairly new program for us, and they ask for minimal increases, 3% and 2.07% for the programs. And both of these programs are well below the state maximum allowable rates. Any questions?
I have none.
Okay, thank you so much, Jamie. And we'll move on to Claremont Nursing and Rehabilitation Center. Melissa Smith is here to discuss the agreement. Melissa?
Good morning. The agreement is for another staffing agency called Tide Healthcare Staffing Agency. We're finding it increasingly difficult to get the staffing we need with the current agencies that we have. The rates are pretty consistent with what we're paying the other agencies. And just as a heads up, we are looking at a couple more agencies to contract with.
Any questions for Melissa?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
And I'll call on Jack Carroll to discuss the 4 agreements for drug and alcohol. Jack?
Good morning, Commissioners. The first 3 of these agreements that involve increases in rates, Treatment Trends, Bowling Green Inn, and Teen Challenge, are all drug and alcohol inpatient programs. As a reminder, the rates for drug and alcohol inpatient programs are set through a statewide rate setting process where the home county where the facility is based takes the lead, and they review a packet of information submitted. They do so by collaborating with the neighboring counties. This year, we are seeing some significant increase in some of the rates. It's as a direct result of the state, in response to the opioid epidemic, is placing a much greater emphasis on making sure that all treatment facilities, inpatient and outpatient, are able to accommodate all three forms of medication-assisted treatment, methadone, buprenorphine, and Vivitrol or naltrexone. In doing that, that requires the addition of more medical capacity for staff, medical staff, nurses, and doctors. So let me go through the increases. With treatment trends, we're seeing a 21% increase in their daily rate for rehab services. That's a $33 increase. With halfway house, we're only seeing a modest increase of 2% or $2 per day. With Teen Challenge, a 13% increase in their detox rate. That's a daily increase of $38 per day. And an 11% increase in their per diem rate for rehab services for $20 per day. With Bowling Green, there's a 9% or $25 per day increase in their detox rate, a 1% increase or $2 per day in their rehab, and a 1% or $3 per day in their co-occurring rehab rate. Do you have any questions about any of those increases, Commissioners?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Okay.
Then the next contract that we have for your consideration is different. This is our contract with our primary state agency, the Department of Drug and Alcohol Programs, or DDAP. The primary vehicle for us to receive public funding for drug and alcohol treatment services is through a 5-year contract with our state agency. And we have just ended a 5-year contract. The last contract terminated on June 30th of this calendar year. And so we've just begun with July 1st, a new 5-year contract. And that is this document. It's to enter into a new 5-year contract period with our primary state agency. This is the vehicle by which we receive state funding and federal substance abuse funding. We receive about $1.6 million per year through this contract. That our amount actually varies depending on the state budget process and federal allocations. Are there any questions about this? The contract presumes no increases in county match from year to year. Okay,
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Jack.
thank you.
And next I'm calling Beth Tornak to discuss the addendum for ERP. Beth?
Good morning. The business software, a contract is addendum to the tax factory software. It's the maintenance agreement for 2020-2021. The contract amount is $6,624, which is an increase of $193 last year.
Any questions for Beth?
No.
Okay.
She's fine.
Thank you, Beth.
Thank you.
And I'll call on Annie Strite next to discuss the agreements for IDD and early intervention for fiscal year 2019-2020, as well as fiscal year 2020-2021. Annie?
Good morning, all. So our first contracts will be going through the 2021 renewals. The first one is for AHEAD, and AHEAD provides supported employment services both for MH and IDD. This contract is specifically for IDD, and what we're seeing is a decrease of $1,402 from fiscal year 1920. The second agreement is for Hempfield Behavioral Health, and it represents a decrease of $1,629 from last fiscal year. And Hempfield Behavioral Health
provides supported living, community participation support for individuals with intellectual disabilities. Their total contract amount is $13,835. The third agreement is for Messiah Lifeways, and Messiah Lifeways provides day rehabilitation services for older adults with intellectual disabilities. Their contract is a total of $10,920, and it represents a decrease of $20,748. The next contract is for PA Life Sharing. Their contract amount is $47,589, and this is actually an increase over last year of $8,091. And they provide some family aid and in-home community supports for individuals with intellectual disabilities. The next agreement is with the Redevelopment Authority of Cumberland County. Their contract amount is $10,000, and it represents a $5,000 decrease from fiscal 1920. And they provide family support and rental assistance for individuals with intellectual disabilities. The next contract is Riverside Associates. Total is $3,000, and it represents a decrease of $2,000 over fiscal year 1920. And they provide psychological evaluations for our office. Cornerstone Agency of PA. Total contract amount is $11,238, and it represents a decrease of $10,475, and they provide behavioral support for individuals with intellectual disabilities. The following contract is UCP of Central PA, and they provide a variety of services for our office. Their total contract amount is $404,702, and this contract is a decrease over last year of $24,839. And again, they provide a variety of services for our offices, including residential support, community participation support, which we call supported living services, and then also in-home services and respite care for individuals with intellectual disabilities. So that is all of the 2021 contracts for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. The next agreement is actually an amendment from fiscal year 1920, and it's for early intervention, and it's with Joanne Peters. And this is an increase due to provision of additional services, and she provides occupational therapy for early intervention. Now we're going to jump back to 2021, and this is an early intervention contract. And this contract is for Advanta Therapy, and the total contract amount is $2,500, and it represents a $500 increase over fiscal year 1920. And it's they provide speech therapy, so they're projecting they're going to do a little more service for our office. And then fiscal year 2021 IDD Goodwill. Goodwill provides supported employment services. This is our project search provider. You're probably familiar with that, with the interns across the county. Their total contract amount is $65,000, and it's a decrease over last year of $3,080. The next contract is with Keon Enterprises. Keon provides transportation services for individuals with intellectual disabilities, and their contract is $3,570, and that represents a decrease of $357 from last fiscal year. And then the final contract is with the ARC of Cumberland and Perry counties, and again, they're a larger provider for our offices. Their contract amount is $474,695, and that represents a decrease over last fiscal year of $131,742, and they provide a variety of services, including community participation support, family education, in-home support. They're one of our larger residential providers, and they also provide supported employment. So all of these contracts total $1,062,750.
Any questions?
I just have a comment. I'm not seeing the ARC on the agenda under item F listed as a contract.
I do apologize for that. You are correct.
That's all right, as long as, I mean, it needs to be added though for the purpose of the meeting where we approve everything.
Yes, you are correct.
Okay, so we'll get
Thank you,
that.
Annie. That's all
Are
I
there
got.
any other questions? I'm so sorry. I thought I had them all.
Any other questions for Annie? Okay, thank you, Annie.
Thank you.
And next I'm gonna call on Kirk Stoner to discuss the Cumberland Plans Grant as well as the.
Oh, hang on, I'm sorry.
Sure.
I'm gonna interrupt. Annie, it is there. I'm sorry, I see it.
This is the revised packet. I don't think it's.
I'm sorry,
one.
thank you.
Yeah, I just saw it myself, we just got this.
Okay.
All right, that's great.
All right.
Thank you.
We're good.
Thank you. So again, I'll call on Kirk Stoner to discuss the Cumberland Plans Grant as well as the addendum for the planning department. Kirk?
Your Commissioners' first grant agreement is with Newburgh Borough. This is the contract for their Cumberland Plans grant application in the amount of $15,000 to update their zoning ordinance. This was reviewed, the grant application was actually reviewed back in July and approved by the board. So this is just the contracting piece of it. Second one there is a grant, it's a land partnerships grant with Central Pennsylvania Conservancy. This is simply extending the expiration date of the grant from July to December. We were unable to close on the grant, which is a conservation easement on 170 acres in South Middle Township. We were unable to close due to COVID-19, so we're just pushing that out and we'll do closing later this year.
Any questions for Kirk?
Thanks, Kurt.
Thank you. And I'll call on Travis Shank to discuss the agreement for the prison as well as for CNRC. Travis?
Morning, Commissioners. The prison and the nursing home are seeking approval of the addendum for the chaplaincy services at both the prison and the nursing home. The addendum cost is $65,450.04 and will take us through to the end of the year.
Any questions for Travis?
No.
Thank you, Travis.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's all of the contracts, so we'll move on to agenda item 6, and I'll call on Jody Smith to discuss the Highway Safety Grant Project Restricted Access Agreement. Jody?
Good morning, Commissioners. I have with me this morning Matt Frampton from the American Trauma Society, and he is going to go over the Restricted Access Agreement and answer any questions that you might have. I'll turn it over to Matt now.
Good morning, Commissioners. This agreement has to do with the Pennsylvania Crash Information Tool. That is an online device that PennDOT has where the general public can go and query crash data for anywhere in the Commonwealth. There's a number of search features on it, and that's available to, like I said, to any member of the public. What PennDOT is requiring of grantees here moving forward with federal fiscal year 2021 and forward is that grantees have an agreement in place with PennDOT for a restricted access area of the Pennsylvania Crash Information Tool. The purpose of that would be to allow grantees access to more information that is readily available to the public and to information that's going to be available sooner in that restricted access area. The public site is not updated as often as what this information would be. And the purpose behind that access would be to use that for proposal builder tools. So you can plan your proposal, and then also, even once a proposal is agreed upon, throughout the year, as you perform the job function, you can have an access tool for the latest trends with crash data in your area. This would be utilized by the Community Traffic Safety Program grant, but then also would probably be utilized also by the Police Traffic Services grant, which would be like the impaired driving grant out of the district attorney's office. Would be another individual that might use that.
Any questions for Jody or for Matt?
No.
Okay, thank you both.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll call on Frank Goshorn to discuss the Domestic Relations Cooperative Agreement. And Commissioners, please note this is an action requested item. Frank? You're on mute.
I'll try it again. Now can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Sorry about that. All right, I'll say good morning again because I'm not sure if I got that in or not. This agreement, I'm seeking approval and signature of this agreement. It's the 2020-2025 cooperative agreement. It's the same agreement that's we've been under for years and years and years. It spells out the requirements of our office to maximize Title 4D reimbursements. If we process everything properly and so forth, this agreement covers approximately $14 million back to the county for the 5-year period. The agreement was negotiated by the Director of Bureau of Child Support Enforcement, the General Counsel, the Department of Human Services, CCAP, 2 Domestic Relation Office Directors, Judge Murphy of the Philly Family Court, and Judge Workman, who's representing AOPC as the Judge of Lancaster. This document is 140 pages long. I'm going to start reading on page 1 now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to read the 140 pages, but does anybody have any questions or any further explanation?
Frank, this is Vince. This contract would take effect October 1st of this year and run through September 30th of 2025, correct?
That is correct.
Any other questions for Frank? Okay. Thank you very much, Frank.
That's action.
Thank you very much.
We'll entertain a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the Domestic Relations Co-op Agreement under Title 4-D of the Social Security Act as presented today, which will cover the period of October 1, 2020 through September 30, 2025.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. All in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thanks.
One other just detail, that document actually needs to be signed by the commissioners.
Okay.
There should be a physical document there somewhere.
Yeah.
I have it.
Good.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, I'll call on Commissioner Eichelberger to discuss the 4 reappointments and 1 new appointment recommendations for MHIDD. Commissioner Eichelberger?
Right, I think we all received copies of the recommendations that came from Annie, and these are recurring advisory board positions. The names put forward: Dave Simonik is reappointment, Kevin Kapp is reappointment, and Dr. Flagler is also reappointment, and also Dusty McMillan reappointment, and it would be a new appointment as well for Lubianco. So we can do these all in one motion, I believe. Bianco's also is CV is attached as well, so if anybody has any questions, it's been active in the field for quite a bit. So we'll be taking action on that Monday, I assume. So,
Okay. Moving on, next we have discussion of capital project requests, and I'll call on Mark Adams to discuss the 4 capital projects for IMTO. Mark?
Good morning, Mayor. Hope everyone can hear me okay. I'm on the road today.
Yes.
I have 4 capital projects to discuss today. The first one is typical network replacement equipment. So older equipment, switches, older firewall, no longer supported by the vendor, and it's just they're old and they need to be. This is not something new. We do this every year with our older equipment. This is a Cisco equipment, and the amount is $18,000. pause for any questions. The next three capital projects I have are all projects which we've applied for grant funding or through the CARES funding. The first one is for laptops for departments. We have received quite a number of requests already through the application for laptops. I'm trying to get a head start on purchasing those, or at least getting the approval to purchase those. We're requesting right now the purchase of 75 laptops in the amount of $138,750. Departments are just needing to work from home more often, and regarding the COVID-19, they're accounting for work purposes, and they're needing the laptops to do more remote work. Any questions on that one?
No.
Okay. The third one is a redundant internet router. Obviously, with the reliance of internet capabilities, we want to be prepared in case our existing internet router fails, and that's the purpose of this. Multiple internet connections going through one router at this time. So if one of those fails, we lose a lot of our communication abilities. So we are looking to have that redundant internet router in place. Again, part of the CARES application for that, the amount of that, $1,000. And our final capital project for you today, the county has to replace Microsoft Office by end of October, which I had planned for. Since COVID-19 hit us, there's been a need to do more work from home, more collaboration, more security, all the things that we need to do to be able to have our workforce be more productive wherever they're at. So we're looking to not just purchase a new version of Office, but to actually invest in Microsoft 365, which is a combination of Office products, collaboration tools, security infrastructure, multi-factor authentication, all the things that will help protect our staff, our data, and allow people to work remotely from home or from client offices or from the county buildings. The cost of that is $400,000. That is a subscription, which is something that we currently don't do with our products. But all of the other software, if we were to still purchase multi-factor authentication and other security tools and other collaboration tools and other project tools, those are subscription services anyway. So this is all kind of bundled in with Microsoft's suite of products. And I think this is the best way for the county to move forward. Again, CARES application submitted for the I do anticipate with that, though, we would be able to reduce some existing services that we have in place. So things like our Barracuda email encryption application, we can eliminate some of those, duplicate software. So once we implement this the first year, we'll be able to eliminate some of our existing solutions that we have in place today.
Hey, Mark, speaking of that, does 365 include their video conferencing product?
Yes, it does. So it includes Microsoft Teams.
Yeah.
It have all the bells and whistles that Zoom has. I would still anticipate us needing Zoom for things like public meetings, court meetings, and some of those things. So I could see us dwindling down our Zoom licenses, but not completely dwindling.
Okay, that was my question. All right. Thanks.
We have a lot of people that are using the basic version of Zoom. And so with Microsoft Teams, they'll be able to use Teams full blown, and so we won't have to go buy any additional licenses at Zoom going forward.
Okay, good. Yeah, I've read it's a really good product. So.
Mark, this is Vince. On our agenda, indicates the project cost is $400,000, but in looking at other detail, it looks like this is $400,000 for the next 5 years. Is that correct?
Correct, that's an annual subscription, so it's $400 a year as well as the product. So it's a big change in how we typically purchase. But the benefits are, we're always getting updated software, we're always getting updated security infrastructure for the applications and the data. And what you have today is, we're running Office 2010. It's a 10-year-old product. And we're, limping along on that, and I think people are looking for newer tools and the good benefit for some of our staff.
Mark, is there the whole market seems to be moving toward a subscription basis, so, we're just keeping up with everybody else really, but is there, you mentioned the support services, is there any tutorial stuff or other customer service, aspects that come with the package?
Yeah, Microsoft does have some of their basic tutorials. I would envision IMTO stepping up some training aspects on that. We have the board has approved a new position for the county in my office, and part of that person's job is going to be training. And actually, the person that we have hired in is doing well with existing products, and he does know Microsoft Office 365 already. So I think we're in a good position to help train our staff.
Okay, that's important. Great, thanks.
Any other questions for Mark?
Hey, Mark, is this just a general fund expenditure, or does this come out of any of our other grants or CARES money or anything?
Well, the first year will be under the CARES.
Okay.
And then I'll need to talk to Dana about the future years. It is user-based. It's user-based licensing, so we could certainly allocate that to the departments and utilize their state funding or other funding sources from their department revenues.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Next, I'm going to call on Brad King to discuss the capital project for CNRC. Brad, are you with us? So I was really hoping that the mystery phone caller.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. There we go.
I'm muted, you must have said, okay. Good morning. We'd like approval to replace our 1969 Massey Ferguson tractor that we use to load salt into our salt spreader for mulch and also other multiple tasks. The existing tractor is pretty well shot. We've been band-aiding over the years since 2012. We spent $9,700 on it. Currently it is out of service. The steering's had multiple problems. We've had it serviced. We're still having issues, and it's really not safe to operate. It's very rusty. The floorboards are rusted out. We have multiple leaks. Tires are shot. In order to replace the tires, we have to replace the rims also because they're rusty. So we would like approval to replace it. I do have two quotes, one for $33,000 and another for $39,000. Is there any questions?
Sure you can't squeeze another year or two out of that, huh? What year did you say that?
I'm afraid somebody's gonna get hurt. The last time they used it, they were moving salt or mulch, and the steering went out and they hit the curb, and I'm just afraid somebody's gonna get hurt. I told them they need to park it for now.
What year did you say it is?
1969.
69? Holy smoke.
Yep.
All right, try to make the next one last as long, okay?
Well, I have one at home of my own, 1949. It's an 8N, but it's a show tractor. It's not a working tractor, so.
Can we buy it from you? All right, well, I think you could teach the sheriff's office a thing or two.
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you, Brad. Okay, so agenda item number 10 is Commissioner's Liaison Reports, and I'll start by calling on Commissioner Eichelberger.
I can be really brief today. I think kind of update, up to date on everything I've been working on, most of it paid, and, of course, Andy covered the MH contracts. Nothing, I haven't heard anything new from recycling, so I really, I briefed you on the call I had, a little bit on the CCAP call on Friday, so I don't really have anything to add.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Eichelberger. Commissioner Fauci?
Yeah, I really don't have much either. The Children and Youth Advisory Board is looking for members, and they're going to meet virtually in September, so that's something to keep an eye out for. Other than that, you know, go to the library. They're safe, they're masking, they're social distancing. Go visit the library. It's a great place. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Fauci. Commissioner DiColivo?
Stacy, I have one report. Excuse me, that is for our conservation district. We had our last meeting July 28th. We actually had it at West Pennsboro Park at one of their pavilions. It was pretty nice. Just some updates. DEP has chosen not to go live with its e-permitting until September. The original goal was to do so in July, but though due to critical functionality errors, it was best decided by DEP to wait till they get those fixed. Next scheduled go live date for the e-permitting, keeping our fingers crossed, will be September 2nd. Update on the Chesapeake Bay Watershed Implementation Plan. Just a reminder, HRG is our WIP coordinator. 2 meetings are scheduled. Well, first of all, there was one done in the end of March with a dozen farmers representing our ag sector. There was also a meeting this past Tuesday with the group from the western part of the county, and there will be a meeting with the, I'll call it the Eastern Region farmers on August the 11th to discuss some items on the plan. Also, the goal is to come up with, gather information to put together some agricultural best management practices. The goal is to have this done by late fall. Some other information here. The district has submitted application to the county for some CARES Act money. This will be used to purchase electronics that can be used for the ENS staff for the new e-permitting program, which is hopefully going to begin later this year. The district also has been selected to receive funding in the amount of $2,942 from the Environmental Education Grant. These funds will be used for stream flow tables and rain to drain non-point source pollution education kits. And Stacy, that's all I have for the Conservation District. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner DiColivo.
You're welcome.
I would like to report that an executive session was held on August 5th, 2020 at 9:30 a.m. regarding personnel. And then under other business, I'll call on Bob Shively from Public Safety to discuss an offer from G. Moyer Communications. Bob?
Morning, Commissioners. Public Safety is requesting your approval for B. Moyer Communications to provide food for Mission Barbecue for the Communications Center during our CAD transition process scheduled for this Tuesday, August 11th.
Hey Bob, I have a question.
Sure.
And I'm not one to look a gift horse in the mouth. But, you know, Mission Barbecue is a chain that's located in Maryland. And we do have, the second day in a row, I'm gonna put in the plug for Red's Barbecue. And I did eat Red's Barbecue last night, but, I mean, we have a local provider, and as food for thought, is there ever any consideration given to how we can meet that need with we've got local businesses that are struggling here in this situation. It just, you know, as a local official, it strikes me that it would be really nice if we consider a local provider.
Sure, I can certainly check.
Okay.
Isn't there a Mission Barbecue, in Camp Hill?
There is.
There is one there.
Is that the one that's giving you the donation?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's actually, I think, being covered by B. Moyer Communications.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right.
they actually are the ones that had made all the arrangements. So,
Okay,
I mean-
and B. Moyer is local, right?
yeah, they're, Lancaster, Lebanon.
Okay, all right.
But they're the radio technician vendor for the county.
Yeah, again, like I said, I don't want to look at gift horse in the mouth. It just seems that in the middle of this situation, you have a struggling local business. It'd be nice if we could get them to think in those terms rather than a chain based in another state. So,
Understood.
yeah, Mission's good too. In terms of the end product, Mission's good. I can attest to it.
Bob, do you need to give them an answer today? Do you need commissioners to make a decision today?
Yeah, if we could, please.
All right. I'll entertain a motion.
You're on mute, Gene.
Said I'll move to approve the donation.
I'll second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other business that needs to come before the board today?